Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal cross stitch and quilting projects. So welcome in today. So I hope you're having a great week. A little bit of sunshine here today, which I'm enjoying. We had a super busy weekend. It was Valentine's Day over the weekend. On Friday night I shared in my newsletter over the weekend how we had a steak dinner. My husband's cooked a steak dinner for Valentine's Day night. His mom was able to join us, which was a treat, and it was a date for two couples. So Stephen had told me earlier in the week last week, he says, I need a date for Valentine's Day. So he ended up having his grandma as his date. And now I did tell you that last week I told you last week that we typically watch Fireproof on Valentine's Day night. But this year we didn't do that because IU basketball was on Friday night. So while they did lose by just a couple points, it was a little bit of a heartbreaker, but it was fun. You know, wore my red and white IU because that's about the only red and white I have. Is anything IU. So that's what we did Friday night after our wonderful dinner and our wonderful dessert, and then we enjoyed watching some basketball together, so that was a real treat. Saturday we got up and I had a 2-hour phone call with my daughters, which was a super lot of fun. We're gonna do this at least once a month. With our schedules it gets a little harder to do that any more than that, besides getting together every once in a while. But with Maggie in a different state, and the other two are each an hour from me, but in opposite directions. So we've decided to at least once a month do a Saturday morning phone call. So we did a 2-hour phone call and it went by like that. But so fun. Little Ellie joined us for a little bit. She was trying to figure out what those faces were looking at her on the iPad, but so enjoyed that. And as soon as that got done, my husband and I had to pack our suitcases because we were headed to downtown Indy for an overnight stay. So I don't know if I've mentioned my husband and his occupation too much, but he is an insurance agent, has been in the insurance industry for what we say since BT, which means before Tammy. So he was in the insurance business before we ever got together, and but he was in claims back then, and he wow, how many years ago now? So probably 30. Has he been an agent for 30 some years? Oh my goodness, we're not old enough. We're just not old enough to be counting those numbers that high. But he's been an agent for that many years, and the Lord has just absolutely blessed through his job for our family. I've been able to be a stay-at-home mom all these years with my kids, and been able to enjoy life on the farm and all the hobbies I have going on. And just so thankful for him and the Lord's provision through his occupation. But every year, if you understand insurance, every year the company sets goals for you to meet, and praise the Lord that my husband was able to meet the company Trailblazer goals for the 2024, which means that at the start of the new year, they treat you to a celebration weekend downtown Indy. We were able to stay in a high-rise hotel. We were only on the 5th floor. There were 19 floors, but we were on the 5th one, so we weren't that high up. And had a black tie affair dinner on Saturday night, and that was a lot of fun. I'll insert pictures. The only picture I really have was a selfie we did as we were heading down to dinner that night, and I'll put that in my newsletter this weekend. So if you don't get my newsletter over the weekend, you want to sign up for that, and there's a link down below for that. That's where I share. In my weekly newsletter, I call it In, On, and Around. And it's usually in is something either in my sewing room or in the mail, something like that. On is usually always what's been on the Longarm that week. And then the third section of my newsletter is around the farmhouse, and that's where I share things that are going on in the family. So if you want to see a picture of my husband and I in our black tie, black dress, suit coat, the whole deal. So it was a 3-course meal where you have all the silverware, got to figure out which one to use, that kind of thing. But we had a wonderful time, a wonderful dinner. It was very delicious. And then we went back to our hotel room and watched basketball. It was fun. It was fun just to be out of your own environment. I did not take any cross stitch with me. I just sat and watched basketball with my husband, and that was a lot of fun. We woke up Sunday morning, and we weren't going to miss church, so we got up Sunday morning and we're headed out to church and realized there was a snowstorm overnight, and it was a little slick, and it wasn't the best conditions of driving from downtown Indy out to our home church, but we made it. Everything worked great, and then we spent the afternoon visiting with my folks, who only live about 30 minutes from us, and we hadn't seen them for a while, so we visited with them. And then we're back to Monday and start back to the work week, right? So it was just a whirlwind of a weekend, but everything wonderful. Just a really, really wonderful time. So the only personal sewing, cross stitching I got done over since I last saw you was a little bit more on my Mementos of the Heart, and I am stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop this month in celebration of Valentine's Day. They're doing a Be Mine stitch along. They have some free patterns. I had them out here a second ago. They have some free patterns, so whether you're a quilter or a cross stitcher, you can download their Little Loves wall hanging. That's quilting, or you can download the Little Loves cross stitch, and I'm sure you have DMC's threads or overdyes in your stash. Doesn't take a whole lot and a little bit of linen, and you can create something fun. We're still celebrating Valentine's Day through the end of the month. You know, you got to, things are, we've had snow on the ground. It brightens things up. I really don't mind snow being on the ground as long as the roads are clear. But Valentine's Day is just a fun time to, or February is a fun month to celebrate Valentine's Day and look for the good in the month, right? And then March will be here before we know it. And I failed to mention, when I was talking about my husband, that we're also going to celebrate his accomplishments in his occupation this past year, as well as celebrate our 34th wedding anniversary in March. We're going to take a short time away, and so that will be fun. But I am stitching along with Mementos of the Heart, and I did a little bit more. I showed you last week how I have changed the colors, the called fors. I'm using overdyes, and which the pattern does call for, but I changed the three that I'm using. So I'm using Merlot, Cayenne, and used brick. Those are the three colors that I'm using. And I made just a little bit more progress. Let me move my needle so it's not distracting. I'm using Cedar River linen. This is in their Scrimshaw color, 36 count. I got a little bit more done. So I really have only worked on this 2 nights. So, and I have probably not quite half of the project done, but it's going really fast. I've really enjoyed working on this, and I just need to be able to sit down and have a little bit more time to work on it. So that's how it's going. Let me put it over here so you can see it a little better. There are 3 different colors, but you can kind of tell 2 of my darker ones, they very similar. So when you get in close, you can see the difference between them, but they're fairly close. Love the different shapes of hearts. I love the ones like this one. It's a negative space where you're stitching the red around it, and then the heart is white. I love that. But just all different sizes. I like this one too. All different sizes of hearts. This does finish in a circle shape, so then I'll be deciding how to finish that once I'm done. You'll notice, look, last week I shared with you that in the Cupid box there was the enamel, the needle minder, and I put that on my board. I need to get a red board, don't I? That would be a little more festive than on a green one. I should do that. So very, very cute. That is the only thing I've gotten done. You should be very proud of me for not taking cross stitch along with my husband, and aren't you proud of me? Because I really wanted to be honest. But I know I need to focus on my husband. I need to spend time just enjoying presents with him and not have my face in a cross stitch project. So sometimes we need to put those things down, whether it's our computer, our phone, or our cross stitch or quilting projects. Sometimes we just need to put them down and spend time with our loved ones, right? All right, so that's all I have to share with you for my personal sewing this week, personal cross stitch, I'd say, and let's move on to some customer quilts. I have 5 small quilts to share with you. These are all Susan's quilts. The first 3 of these are from Adidas Sitar, which is laundry basket quilts. These are from her Little Quilts Club kits, and I will link that down below if you'd like to be a part of that. So once a month she sends you a kit with the pattern to create one of these cute little quilts. They are absolutely adorable. Fortunately, those of you who are not in the club, the 3 patterns I'm going to show you are all available as purchases, patterns that you can purchase on your own now as well. So this first one is called Summer Star. And these are miniature. This one measures 20 by 20, and this uses all laundry basket quilts. They put the combination together. Sometimes when you buy a kit from Laundry Basket, they keep the same colorways, but the fabrics may change. So I know there's a kit available for this now as well. Susan says that the fabrics in hers are a combination of fabrics, but mostly Practical Magic is the line that was put together for this one. So 20 inches square. I'll hold this up so you can see. It's just absolutely adorable. Very cute. This would be great as a small wall hanging, or on a table, or an end table, or the back of a chair or something. It is just absolutely adorable. Love the colors in it. Some tiny pieces, but nothing too difficult. I think it's something that a moderate quilter could do. A lot of these you see right here, these are all half square triangles. They're kind of small, finishing probably 1.5 inches. But not bad, not bad. Really cute. Love the design, love the colors, absolutely beautiful. So the backing fabric is just a plain white muslin. Looks like muslin, probably not muslin, just a solid white color. Now, a lot of times with these kits, when they put the kits together, especially for these smaller quilts, they do not include enough fabric to be put on the long arm. But it's not a problem. Just add some other fabric around the edges of that. The fabric that they send for the backing is usually always larger than the quilt top itself, but it just doesn't quite give enough leeway for the long arm. So as long as you add some extra strips of fabric around all 4 edges of that, then we can load it on the long arm and still be able to fit the quilt pattern in the actual fabric that was sent. So on the back you can see the pantograph on this one. I did use espresso on this one. Just love the daintiness, the swirliness of this one. The front is just very classy. It's just a nice design, so I went with something spiral. This one has spirals. It has a little bit of paisley. It does have the ribbon effect where it flips over on itself. Really, really cute. I did shrink this down. Actually, it looks like the rows. Let me find my rows. My rows are this way, so a row is about right here, so maybe 6 inches, maybe 5 inches. I did use a cream color thread on this one. The background fabric, or the backing fabric, is a cream color, and those front fabrics are more muted, so the cream went really well with that. So super cute. Just absolutely love these. All right, I'll show you the next one. The second one of Susan's quilts is again a laundry basket quilt, pattern from her small quilt club. What is it called? The Little Quilts Club is what the club is called, and this one is called Made in the USA Mini. There is a larger quilt that's more of a twin size that you can get the pattern for this as well. This pattern is now available outside of the club. Also, you can get a kit for this one. There is pre-order for the kits for the larger quilts, but I love, love, love this design. So laundry basket fabrics on this one as well. Yeah. So you do have some pinks in with the reds, which is a really cute, really nice, kind of a muted, springy, summery type of feel to this one. Some lighter blues in there as well on your flags. The fabric here is a low volume. It is the like the tan on top of the cream laundry basket fabrics, really cute. And then the ones in the flags are just a little bit lighter so that you get that difference between the background fabric and the quilts themselves. So 6 flags on there. The backing fabric, I love this backing fabric. Oh my goodness, this would make a great fabric for the back of a small pillow, cross-stitch pillow, or a project bag. I just absolutely love the backing on that one. Absolutely beautiful. Goes perfectly with the theme of the flags on the front. So Susan said, I just want some waves on this one. And so anytime I do waves, I usually use the Good Vibrations pantograph. And this one, you can make the waves as big or as small, as deep and as wide as you want. So on this one, I did shrink it down. When I do shrink down a design like this, the Good Vibrations, I always do a lock and then I adjust the height. So those are the 2 that I'm looking at. And I did shrink this down. I think this was just a 1/2 inch between the waves here. So very tiny. I did use a cream color thread on this one also, and that blends very nicely with the background fabric, blends very nicely with the backing fabric, and just an adorable piece. This would be so pretty hanging up. Personally, I do patriotic from May all the way through Labor Day. It's the entire summer is what I do patriotic. So I just think that is absolutely adorable. All right, here is Susan's 3rd laundry basket quilt. Her 3rd one is Little House. This measures 17 by 22. This also is available as a separate pattern now that you can get outside of the club itself. And again, these are all laundry basket fabrics, mostly English garden. So you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 houses on there. I like this is done. A lot of times when we see house patterns, we see them all in rows. I like that this has the difference there. A little more on a checkerboard type or just a zigzag, just offset. How about we just say that? Just offset. I like that. The English Garden is a very floral fabric line, very intricate English. I mean, just so beautiful. The colors on this one, you have your mauve, you have your teal, and you can see those a lot in the larger floral around the edge, the grape, or I assume that's grapes. I don't know. Some sort of fruit there. You have a little bit of the black and a little bit of the deeper orange, almost a tan color. So really nice. Background fabric is, the backing fabric is just a solid color, and there you can see the pantograph, really nice one. This one is called Adore, and thought this one went really well. I did shrink this one down. You've seen this one on other quilts much larger, but with the size of the quilt, the size of the design on the front, I do feel like you need to shrink the designs some too. So here's the Adore, and you can see how it has a spiral. It has the feather motif, but it's all on the top of that spiral, and then it has a little leaf. It spins out, does a little bit of the ribbon-like effect, just like an espresso, and then you can see it move on to the next one. So I really like that pantograph. Very, very fun. So beautiful little quilt. So here's spring, and then the patriotic one was summer. So fun. So let's move on to the next one. And Susan's fourth small quilt, this is called Canning Season. This was a pattern done by Lori Holt, published by It's So Emma. So this one measures 27 by 30, but it also has a bonus in the pattern that they included are these two jar covers to cover your mason jars, a small one and a larger one. Isn't that cute? Great idea, so fun. So Canning Season, and then the fabrics that Susan used on hers, she used stuff from her stash. So Camille Roskelley, she used some Dwell from Camille Roskelley. She used some Flower Pot from Vanessa Goertzen. She used Nutmeg and Happiness Blooms from Deb Strain, and it goes together perfectly. She did a really nice job on this one. So I love the aqua fabrics that she's used for all the jar tops and also all of the shelving. And isn't that really cute? And then the design, the jars, beautiful. Just all small, dainty prints. You have some acorns, you have some florals, you have some birds, a little bit of a home print down here, just one little pink print. This one's got some birds in it too. I just love it. Just love it. It is so cute. Whoops! I just love the colors, how she's put this together. I love the canning. I love mason jars. I use mason jars not just for my canning. I use them for storage. I use them for our drinking glasses are mason jars, really. And I prefer the wide mouth ones. But I use them around the house to store pens and just all kinds of stuff, buttons and everything. So I just love mason jars. So I just love this pattern. Let me show you the backing fabric because she chose a panel for the backing fabric. Great idea. I love that for these smaller quilts, is using a panel. It's a great use of your panel. So this is the Pumpkin Kisses and Harvest Wishes. Let me just hold this up so you can see. Really cute panel. Very fun. The same aqua colors that she's used on the front, she has used in that backing fabric also. Then for the pantograph, this was really cute. She said, I have this paper towel, and I would like you to find a design that's similar to that paper towel. So I did, and the paper, oh, I did not even write it down. Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. Hold on just a second. Okay, I was right, but I didn't want to misstate something prior to, or I didn't want to misstate it to you. So this is Julie Hurt's design called Paper Blooms, and it really matches this, not exactly, but it's pretty close to the design on that paper towel. So Paper Blooms stitches out in these rows. It's almost like an orange peel. So you have the circle with the orange peel design on the inside, and then next to it you have the orange peel design. I mean, it's an adaptation to the orange peel, but it's really cute. So the circles, and then what looks like X's, as I was going to say, but it's really that that same orange peel design. It does echo itself. How it moves across is there is just a single line that does go across. So comes in, does the circle, does all the things there, comes over to the next one, does your orange peel shape. It does outline it several times. I didn't make this really small. It's like 2 inches. I just felt that that went well with the size of the quilt, the design of the quilt. I feel like this one's going to be a wall hanging, so it gives a little more density to that wall hanging and just helps it to hang nice and straight. I did use cream color thread on this one. The backing fabric here, the background fabric is more of a cream color. The backing fabric is more of a cream color, so you can really see that design there. Just super love this, super love it. Really, really cute. So, all right, that's Susan's fourth one, and let's show you the last one. And finally, Susan's last small quilt. This was the 2023 Haunted Halloween pattern by the Fat Quarter Shop. This is still available. This is a free PDF. There is also a cross stitch that goes along with it. So a completely free pattern. So if you want to get a jump on Halloween, it'd be a good time to go back and get this one. So you have the moon with the bat in there. I love the stars across the top. A couple other stars here. A nice black kitty, and then you have the haunted house. Really nice design. So Susan says for the fabrics, she used some things from her stash, and she also used Halloween, which is by Urban Chicks. And it's more of a, it's a softer orange color in that Halloween line, but it's really cute. And then the backing fabric here, the background fabric is just a gray. I don't think she told me that the name of it, but any just solid gray works really well for that one. The background fabric, or the backing fabric, I don't have the name of this one either, but it's looks like a batik, more of a fall leaf type of design there. So really nice with the whole fall theme, the whole autumn theme, with the Halloween on the front, and then that was a nice addition to the back. So for the pantograph on this one, she said she wanted something that was blustery, felt like the wind was blowing, and so I picked Wind Swept. I did this in a light gray thread, and I didn't make this super small, not as small as like I did on the canning season quilt. Because the house is a little bigger, the cat's a little bigger, I wanted to make that swirls a little larger on this one. So you can see the design is here. It comes in and does a swirl here, nice big swirl, comes to a point. It echoes, not echoes, but it crosses over itself to get that little bit of a wind feel. And then it comes down and does another big swirl here. So here is the whole line, but it's alternating those swirls, and then the line below it just nests right up very nicely up into that design from the row above. So you really shrink those lines down into each other so that one really comes up to, into the other one, and then you get that whole windswept feel where it's doing that across the whole quilt, and you're not seeing big gaps in the pantograph. So did use the light gray thread on this one. That just blends really nicely with the gray background, and then just keeps that kind of a dark muted tone to the quilt, which is what you'd expect on a Halloween type quilt. So cute. Susan did such a nice job on all 5 of these smaller quilts, and I think she's covered every season for the year. So great work, Susan. I have 3 quilts by Sue, and this first one is called Trifles. This is an It's So Emma pattern. The pattern comes in 4 different sizes, from crib to lap, which is the size that Sue has made, and then there's a twin and a queen size. This is jelly roll friendly. I love the colors because you can, I love the colors that Sue has picked, but you can do this pattern in whatever colors you have and use up your stash. And I just think this, I love this quilt. I just love this quilt. It'll fit anybody, you know, whether it's male or female, baby, teen, you know, grown, it doesn't matter. This pattern is going to work great for that, and it can use up all of your stash. Well, if you keep going, if you make enough, maybe you'll use up all your stash. But pick a colorway and do it all in the same colorway. So she has chosen all blues, and you can see, and I don't know, I've not looked at the pattern to see if the pattern has you do 3 different colorways in this block, or maybe it's just 1 strip. You know, you could be doing 1 strip of each one. But even if you don't have a long enough strip, see how Sue has joined them together. 2 in this one, 3 in this one, 3, 2, 2. It's all mixed up. So no matter what size scraps you have, you can do this quilt. You will need some backing fabric or background fabric, and Sue has chosen a white. It is a tone on tone. There's just tiny little dots on here, but you have to get in really, really close to even see those. So the size that she made is 56 by 66, and that is the lap size in the pattern. So there's a twin and a queen size even larger than that. So the backing fabric, I like this blue. Isn't that pretty? So on the front, she's got some light blues, she's got some dark blues, some mediums, and then the backing fabric that she chose has a little bit of everything. This is called Beautiful Moments by Jacqueline Maldonado. I may not be saying that correctly, for Figo, F-I-G-O fabrics. So if I can find that, I'll link that down below. I do think that I found that on Etsy when I was looking up links. But I love this quilt. I just think this is a great pattern, because you will be able to use this pattern over and over and over, whether it's a baby size quilt that you're needing or a large quilt, a graduation quilt. You do it in the colors of your teenager, you know, whatever. I just think it's a great quilt. So for the pantograph on this one, you know, Sue did tell me it was my choice, but just nothing floral, because this was going to be a donation quilt. And so again, I don't know whether it's going to a male or female. You don't know the age of the person it's going to. So I try to keep the pantograph very neutral, or just something that added texture and not created a theme with it at all. So I went with a pantograph called Abacus. I like this pantograph. I don't use it that often, but I just think it's a great one for adding texture. I just really, really, really like it. So this one is done on the diagonal, which I thought was a great contrast to the horizontal and vertical lines we have in the quilt. So Abacus, it's almost like 4 fingers like this, and then 4 fingers like this. But it comes in, it's in a grid, like a square set on point, but the lines are rounded at the end. So round, 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 you know, like this, and then it comes in and then does it this way, and then comes and does it this way. So it's stitching here, 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 here. So it's doing that diagonal across so that it nests in really well together. You're not matching any precise points, but it adds such great texture. And I did shrink my rows in so that the spacing between the spacing of the lines in the pass are the same as the spacing between the 2 passes, if that makes sense. I want to shrink this up so I don't have a huge amount of space in between the rows, but that it's a pretty seamless pattern all the way across the quilt. I did use the Omni Natural White on this one. This one has a white background fabric. And then for the backing, it really blends in. This is bright. This is the bright blues. You know, it's the white's not going to be overpowering on that backing fabric there. So love, love, love. I just love the texture that this pantograph adds to this, and then adding in that diagonal dimension. And anytime you can have a pantograph that doesn't have to have precise points to meet up, it's a good day in my game. I just it makes life a whole lot easier. So I just think this is really, really cute, and I think it's great that Sue is donating this, and this is a great pattern. I think you'll want to pick it up. Sue's second quilt is a baby quilt. Isn't this so cute? It's the baby rattles. Isn't that just darling? So this is a pattern from a book also done by It's So Emma. The book is called Fat Quarter Baby. This book has 20 different patterns, 10 for boys, 10 for girls, all different kinds of stuff. So you see the pretty baby rattles, but there's hearts, there's tumbling blocks, there's airplanes, there's puzzle pieces, there's flowers. I mean, there are so many patterns in this book. Really, really great book. All done crib size, so it's all baby quilts. So whatever you're needing for a shower gift or a new addition coming along, this is perfect. So the fabric line is called From Her Stash. And then she says the backing fabric that you can see here. We've seen this backing fabric before. I love this one. It's the black and white clouds. Let me just flip this over real quick. This is the backing fabric. The name of this is called Head in the Clouds, and this is a Wyndham fabric. We've seen this before on other quilts that I've done. This is the black and white clouds. I like the clouds that they have a different design in each one of the clouds. So it's like pencil drawings, I mean just everything. And then you have the sun poking through. Now this is a wide backing, and the color of the sun changes as it goes down the quilt, or as it goes down the fabric. So this is a baby quilt, so it's only using part of the fabric line. But you can see the purple, magenta, some red, some orange, and then it gets into the brighter oranges and the yellows all the way at the very bottom. If this continued on, there are greens and blues, or maybe the greens and blues are at the top. I don't know. I didn't have the whole piece. But this is a great wide backing. It works for so many quilts. And I love the black and white with those bursts of color with the suns. So let's look at this again. So the baby rattles, easy piecing, but you know, you got the bow ties, you just got some long strips, you've got the snowball block here for the end of the rattle, and even for the rattle itself. So 8 on this one. If you needed it bigger, it would be very simple to make this, just do another row and make it larger. So for the pantograph on this one, Sue asked for Teddy Love. And let me get this in close so hopefully you can see it. So Teddy Love is just a sweet little pantograph, has a teddy bear just holding out his little heart balloon here. So he faces this way, and then it stitches, does a heart, does a heart, and stitches out this way. The rows do nest in very well together. This is the bottom of one, looks like here. And then it does the teddy bear here and the teddy bear here, and then the other one comes up really nicely in there. Did use the Omni Natural white thread on this one also. This background fabric is white. This one is a tone on tone. It has just the slightest little star on it. It's super cute. But then with the white thread on it, it just blends well with the backing fabric, so that you're really seeing the baby rattles, and that's what you're noticing first of all. Not until you get in close do you see that sweet little teddy bear holding his little heart balloon. So really, really cute. Love this pattern also. And Sue's third quilt is a Sloan pattern. This is called Flip Flops in Paradise. Sue said she did add a third row and chose to make her flip flops larger, and they are hand appliqued. Very, very nice work. I love flip flops. Do you live in flip flops like I do? Summertime, you know, as soon as it's warm enough, I'm in flip flops. Just love them. So love this design. I love the patriotic feel to this one, everything red and blue. So she said the block background, what you're seeing here, this is called Marble Swirls by Moda. The outside border is the American Beauty, and I think that's a great tie-in for all of those. The large floral with the big red poppies, that's what those are called. The big red poppies, at least that's what it reminds me of. So poppies for May, for Memorial Day, love that. So the backing fabric, this is called Oceanica, and this is a fish fabric. So you can see the fish swimming through the ocean, a great theme to go along with the flip-flops on the front side. So the fish going back and forth, and then you've got some of the I don't know, what's it called? The seaweed? I don't know what it's called. But just really like this, the light blue with the bright fish on the front. So for the pantograph, Sue said she likes sunflowers. And I thought this was a great idea because the sunflowers make it look like it's sun on there. You really don't even think about the flowers, them being flowers. It really feels like it's the sun shining. So hope you can see that. I like that this is called Dave's Sunflowers, and it comes in and it just does the point and the point and the point. It does the points of all of the sunflowers, so as it's doing that, it makes that center circle where the head of the sunflower would be, and then it comes out and just does a big loop, and then it does the same thing for the next one. So for the pantograph on this one, I did again use the Omni Natural White. This is a bright quilt. This is a you know, a fun, you know, I didn't want to dull it down by putting cream on it. So really the red, white, and blue go together really nicely. I like the red polka dot that she used. I love her colors. And then she did make it 3 rows instead of, so she made it larger than Pat's pattern. So hers measures 53 by 58, so it's actually a little wider. It's 58 wide and 53 high. So you can see the blocks. I like that they're offset, and the pattern in Pat Sloan's pattern is that way as well. So it's a really nice, fun design that it, you know, kind of deviates from your normal just grid pattern, which is fun. You know, it just adds a bit of interest to that quilt. So those are Sue's 3 quilts, and she did a great job on all of them. This is Ruth's quilt, and this pattern is called Jelly Roll Sampler. This is done by A Quilting Life, which is Sherry McConnell. And this is a great pattern for using a jelly roll, first of all, but also doing some classic blocks, all with your jelly roll. So each block is different. There are 16 blocks in all, so each one is different. The fabric that Ruth used on this one, she said she used Boundless Flower Shop 2, and the white background fabric, this is a white dot, and she got that from Missouri Star called Dot Dot Dot. And I'll try to find something similar below, or something similar, and I'll link it down below. Everything that I talk about on my videos, patterns and fabric and pantograph and thread, everything I try to link down below in the description. So if you see something that has inspired you and you want to create that pattern, or you love that fabric, check down below. Just hit the more button. You'll see a little bit of stuff at the top where it says Longarm prep instructions, or I'll have my website or something. But if you click more, it drops down a whole list. Every one of these quilts that I talk about is listed by the client's name, and then it has the pattern, the fabric, the pantograph, the thread, everything that I can find I list for you. They are affiliate links. Some of them, not all of them, are affiliate links, which just means that I get a little bit of a kickback when you purchase something through that link. It doesn't mean that you're paying any more. Not at all. You're paying the same price. It just gives a little bit of money back to me, and I appreciate your support in that way. So I know a lot of times you're looking for something, you see something, oh, that's going to be perfect for this project, or that fabric's going to be perfect. So make sure you check down below and find that information down below. I try to give that to you so that you can find it easily, not have to do those searches yourself. So this pattern, Ruth's quilt measures 57 by 57. The original pattern is 47 by 47, but Ruth added an additional border on hers, which is a great idea. You need to make it just a tad bit bigger. Just add another border. So all of her fabrics, I like the colors, reds and blues, and some creamy, almost a grayish type, some yellows. And she just done a nice job. There's some bright blues in there also. A great way, if you're new to quilting, this would be a great one to work with, because you're creating all different blocks. You get some experience with all different types of blocks. And Sherry's patterns are written really well. So you'll have a good experience with one of her patterns. For the backing fabric, Ruth chose a white minky. Minky is super soft. It does have a nap to it, so if you are joining a seam, make sure you have the nap running the same way. Minky does come in 90-inch wide, which is great for your larger quilts so that you don't have to piece, but I love the softness that a minky adds to a back of a quilt. It's just wonderful. So this shows you the pantograph really well, and this pantograph is called Adore. It has nice swirls in it. It has this whole feather motif on top of the swirl. It has a little leaf even on top of that feather design, and then it spins out, does some more swirls, and then over into a swirl with that feather on top there as well. Very very soft pantograph. It just adds beautiful texture. It adds a beautiful design on top of your quilt and just very, very soft. I just really like the look of this pantograph. I did use the Omni Natural White for this one. The quilt top, you've got white background fabric here. We've got white on the minky, and so white was the good choice for this one. So Ruth's quilt is really, really nice. I know she's excited to get this one back, and it's just a really cute quilt. Great job, Ruth. I really enjoyed those projects by Ruth and Sue and Susan. So fun. If you found something that you would like to make for yourself, all the links are down below. If you are in need of long arm quilting services, my information is down below, how you can get a hold of me. There are long arm prep instructions and an order form that you can download, gives you all the information on how you can get a hold of me. And you can visit my website. That's where you can see the information as well, and you can see all the different pantographs. I try to update that as I get new ones in, but it's not always, and you know me, I like new things. So if you don't see the perfect pantograph, then just tell me what you're looking for, and maybe we can find a new one. I like doing some new pantographs as well. So I will be back here next week because every quilt is worth finishing. We'll see you then.